hang on. I got my eyes on you. Alright, so basically, like, I did not upload, like, last week. The past 2 weeks have been fucking crazy. 2 weeks ago, me and Zay went to LA because we went to the Chargers game, and I forgot some sunscreen. Let me show you how the Chargers game went. Boy! Then this past week, we went over to the Las Vegas Expo. Oh, that shit was wild as fuck, too. We already faded. Zay, you faded? I don't know how much footage I got from that shit, bro. I'm trying to get hype, bro. I'm trying to get these people. When we were leaving for our flight, I only had an hour of sleep to begin with. How many hours of sleep you get? 4. Bro, I got 1 hour of sleep. Legit, I went to bed at 2, woke up at 3. Like, me and Zay showed up here at the shop. I think it was like at 4 a.m. You ever Vegas?
No, it's too early for that.
Because we had to cut up each other because like we left on a Friday. Or no, we left on a Saturday. And that Friday we was all booked up, so like I had to like finish up. Is somebody cranky? Somebody's cranky right now, bro. We took how long to do that shit. Hopped on flight and got the madness going. Ooh, look at that TBS tape with time we hand. Look at that TBS. Ooh, Zay, you did a good job on that, baby. Good job, Zay. But if I seen you at the LV Expo, I somewhat remember if you posted a picture. If you didn't post the picture that we took, or we didn't take a picture, there's a good chance that I don't remember talking to you, except for Get Beamed. I remember I talked to Get Beamed and Marvy Marv too. I remember I said what's up to him. Barbers. But other than that, I've not been feeling like coming here at night when there's nobody here to do this, so I'm kind of doing it in the back of the shop while Brooks is eating his. Say hi, Brooks. Bruh, okay, I gave you a second chance with this, and that's all you give me? You don't get a third chance, bro. We good. We cut to the video, bro. We done. We done. What is good, y'all? It's your boy Deluxe back again. Y'all been on me about this one on Instagram too, but he switched it up on me. He came back in this time like, bro, what happened to blue eyes? He's like, man, my man, don't even talk. I'm like, all right, bro, y'all fooled us once. Y'all not gonna fool us again. You don't got blue eyes, but we got that out of the way. So first and foremost, this is gonna be a low taper with a beard tutorial. Of course, he has the poppin' ass braids. We do have a lot of small, intricate areas that we gotta work through with this haircut because, you know, he kind of has like a little bit of the hairline showing. He has a little bit around the side arch. So I'm gonna go ahead and explain how to go ahead and attack a cut like this. To start off, I don't want to go ahead and go against the grain because I want to go ahead and keep everything as dark as possible. Take everything down. So I'm going to go ahead and go with a 1 guard open. And I'm just going to go with the grain, cutting off any bulk that's on top. Like I said before, this is going to be a lower taper because if I was to go a little bit higher, if I was to go to like maybe a mid taper or even a high taper, that thing's just going to look way too bald and there's not going to be enough darkness right around those braids. And I want to really keep as much darkness around there so we can see the transition of that taper going up into the lineup. So I'm gonna start probably like as you see me right there, kind of start at the very top of the ear, and instead of giving it like a little C cup or a little burst fade action, I'm just gonna go kind of straight off that top of the ear. Not really what I usually do for most of my tapers, but something like this, you kind of have to go ahead and adapt to the hair and kind of do things a little bit differently according to your client's hair type. Not every single haircut is going to be the same. Not every single kind of hairstyle is going to be universal. So always when you're attacking different types of haircuts, you got to kind of think on your toes. And this was definitely one of those just because of how tight of an area I had to fade it in. Other than that, once I get my first bald guideline in with the no guard open and kind of blend that out, it's really just the same. I'm just gonna start blending my way down to make sure I don't push that blend up. When you blend up, you have a tendency to push that fade up. When you start blending down, I always find it a little bit easier to keep everything a little bit darker, to keep that fade a little bit lower. And then of course, after I get done going from a 1.5 guard down to my 1 guard and then down to my 0 guard, open halfway then close, I like to go through it and clean it up just a little bit with the picking technique action. Afterwards, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my Slimline and the Slimline Pros, and I'm just gonna hit that lineup nice and easy around that C cup, keeping it as natural as possible. I also have to keep in mind that he is a pretty hairy ass dude, so anything that is pushed back will grow back in about 3 hours time span. As you can kind of see, those braids right behind the ear, they kind of started falling out. He had to he got those braids probably about a day earlier. So sometimes with clients with braids, if they don't come in right afterwards, those braids might be falling out a little bit. Some braids might be popping out a little bit looser. So just be aware that any long hairs, to try to not cut those off, because braiders do use those up in the braids. And that's just something that he had. So I tried not to cut that off when I went behind the ear. This way you kind of saw me. I took that thing back in there. And then literally same steps on the other side, just trying to keep that thing nice and low. Now moving on to the back, he doesn't have that much of any hair on the neck in terms of to be able to taper it out. So I'm just going to go ahead and do my best to not take off as much hair, especially from the braids. I'm going to keep it pretty low so I have a little bit of transition. I really just started with a one guard close to kind of get a nice baseline of everything. And then, like I said before, I keep that bald line kind of low. And then just really trying to flick out. Zay likes to call it a little pooper scooper technique, because you're really just trying to scoop out as much as you can, and try to blend out as harshly as you can without trying to take off too much hair. And then keeping the back line up as natural as possible. Those hairs are pretty lengthy back there, so you know, some of y'all might be like, but Deluxe, you like are going way too far in on his hairline. That's kind of where his hairline is set at, and those hairs that are longer are getting cut off like that because you know, they're just longer, bro. So you know, I'm sorry about that. If you feel triggered about that, you know, maybe if I can give you a pat on the back, I would, but I'm not. Then moving on to the beard. The first time I cut him up, I usually do, and as most of you know, I usually go with the grain with the beard, because his beard is so thick. We went ahead and went with a 2 against the grain, and still, usually like a 2 against the grain will make the beard a little bit lighter. You can see some spots in it, but because his beard is so full and thick, it still has that complete darkness, which I was pretty surprised by. Moving on to the side taper, really trying to keep that taper up a little bit higher, having a little bit of a fade technique going around the ear area. With a client like who has a lot of hair to work with, like my client does, especially on the beard, you can kind of almost get lost in terms of like where to even go, because like a lot of times, you know, clients have like a little they're not as hairy as this, so you kind of understand, all right, I can go here, I can go this way. But somebody like this, you kind of have a lot of freedom in terms of where to go. Stuff like this, I usually tend to ask the client where he likes the beard at. You know, we can go a lot of different ways. We can keep the beard up super high and keep it nice and full. But for my client right here, he asked to kind of put it down more closer to like the edge of his lip, where his lips kind of meet at. He wanted the beard pushed down just a little bit. He understands that it will grow back pretty quickly, but that's just the look that he wants. And sometimes, even though the client, you know, even though as a barber, we might not agree all the time with what our clients want, we still have a job to go ahead and give a client the look. Give him heads up like, hey bro, you know, you're pretty hairy. I'm pretty hairy too. I understand how quickly the hair can grow out. As long as you give him the heads up, that's just gonna grow up pretty quickly. He understands that. He's not gonna get pissed off that in about 3 hours when he has that thing grown back already. Then it's all gravy in the Navy, you feel me? Moving on to the other side, still the same thing, just trying to make sure every side is all nice and evened out. Trying to make sure that mustache is as thick as possible too. Try not to take it too far down. Also, when you're doing beards, around that lip area is definitely a place that you want to go ahead and give a little bit more attention to when cleaning up. It kind of gets overlooked a lot by a lot of barbers, but I know for myself, sometimes with Zay, if you watch this, bro, make sure you get that inside of my lip. If you don't clean that up, that hair does tend to grow pretty crazy and gets in the way when we're eating or talking. So make sure to cut that down. You know, just comb it to the center of the mouth, and then take anything that's out. You're not gonna hurt the beard. You're not gonna hurt its feelings or anything like that. You're gonna help it out. All right. Moving on to the hair lineup. Now, for usually my clients, I usually like to tend to keep it pretty natural. Like I said, always want to listen to each client's demands and what they kind of want for their look. For him, he was more concerned about kind of like that bar right right below the braids where I mean he calls it a bar. I don't really know what else to call it, but it's that hair that's disconnected from the braids. He wanted that to be even though it would be pushed back a little bit. He was all right with it. Always make sure, you know, whenever you give your client whatever look he wants, that you just, you know, you caution him and what he's doing and what he wants to have done. And then if he's cool with it, bro, go ahead and do that thing. Moving on, this is one of my services that I provide. This is actually a $100 haircut in terms of haircut, beard, as well as a facial done. This is just a facial scrub with an Oster hand massager. Thing's freaking amazing. If you ever had one of those done, you completely relax. You'll probably fall asleep. And then afterwards, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and take the clipper and kind of clean up any stray hairs. A lot of times when we're kind of going over the beard, you know, a lot of stray hairs can get missed through the clipper when you're going over with the guard. So sometimes, you know, when they start poking out, just go ahead and go over freehanding it. And then go ahead and I'm going to take my straight razor after that, apply my fibers, and then I'm going to line everything up, make sure everything's in alignment with the straight razor afterwards.
Perfect.
And after that, hey, that's the end of the tutorial right there. After that, you're all done. Go ahead, clean them up, cut off any other stray hairs that you may see. This is a low taper, like I said. The beard, you know, it is taken down just a little bit, but it was where he wanted to. I made sure to check with him multiple times that, hey, look, this is where you want it to be. He confirmed, like, all right, yeah, I like it that low. So, you know, it's very simple cut, very easy cut, but those tapers right around the sideburns are very, very key to keep short and to keep that darkness up there as much as possible. Don't forget, we got weekly videos coming at you guys, so go ahead and stay tuned. Go ahead and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at deluxe_, that is DLUCS. I'll also drop that on your screen. Go ahead, drop a comment, a like, whatever you want, maybe your girlfriend's phone number, and I will see you guys next week on my channel. All right, y'all, we out.